He will win this team. I think he feels comfortable here. He's not being judged or under the spotlight. He feels like this is proper camaraderie within this squad. They're all part of the same project, trying to build together. Maiden, just another big name in this squad, being so impressive at this tournament. Like, so incredibly talented. Very, very impactful player to look out for with the rifles. Certainly Navi needs to be worried about him. We'll look for their roster as well. Flamey, household name at this point, solid rifler, can pretty much do any role. Normally can be found on the anchor on the CT side, very aggressive on the T side, simple, no introduction needed. The world's best player multiple times, currently ranked number 2 in the world after his 2019 performance. He will be the main sniper. Electronic also in that top 5, one of the world's best riflers in the game. Think about it, Matt. The top 3 of 2019 were all AWPers, right? Getting in that top 5 as a rifler, Elysian himself, that's pretty incredible,
that's a good point, because Device was number 3, Zywoo number 1.
Yep.
It shows off the power of the weapon, certainly, and the impact that it can have. But you're right, the riflers, he's number 2 in the world if you want to look at it that from Electronic's perspective.
Exactly. So you've got a powerhouse in terms of individual skill. Navi, you have them trumped, absolutely. But we know this GODSENT team have been putting in the hard work. They've been doing the theory, working as a squad.
He was number 4 or number 5 in the ratings. So
it was one or the other. I didn't want to put too much weight on it, but that, just to make the point, is top 3 were all AWPers last year. So to be the top echelon of riflers, that's massive. You've got Simple and Electronic on the same team. Boomich in game leader. It should be a perfect recipe with Blade behind them as well.
That's the problem, though. That is the pressure that they put on themselves. They have that skill. They have that potential. They are the favorites, as the odds suggest on GG.bet. But they've never delivered it on an international level consistently enough to call themselves major champions, and certainly, you're right, not for a while. See if that changes. Good little event for them to shape up in. As we head into 2020, Sticko's going to head toward the B site right now for GODSENT. Remember, we did knife for sides. So Navi got the pick of the litter, and they've gone defensive to start. Flamey's going to get a little more aggressive toward the sandbags. Flashed in fact, just to check water. He has some backup. They'll do that with 2 players rather than just 1. And they'll leave Flamey a little bit more aggressive, but then back inside of the site, Perfecto's going to go in behind the barrels. Perfecto has the angle that the barrels actually add as armor almost. You can't penetrate through those with pistols, so he tries to play a headshot angle. He gets taken down. Boomich has to respond, but Sticko too. It's suddenly changing, though, because Simple gets up above in heaven. The quick rotation from A to B, he can actually see above and into the site. The smoke down will allow the plants, but a 2-on-2 in the retake. Boomich has the kit still to work with. No armor is a factor. They're up against a Glock, and the P250 can be an absolutely massive weapon in these situations, especially if the distance gets closed. Michael is going to be the one holding on to that.
20 seconds remaining. No smoke on the CT side, but headshots are plenty. That's a beautiful one from Simple. Looks like they're going to be overwhelming the final player in the form of Michael there. What a shot towards short that was. That's what they're bringing to the table, Matt. That's what you've got to overcome that second round, and they have been very successful in those approaches. You do have the option to buy up in the third as well and have a very strong buy. Follows second round, get the bomb down. Instead of getting a couple of AKs, you could go for 4 Galils and have a bit of utility as well.
Flamey gets a little more aggressive toward the sandbags. Sticko, the man that got most of the kills, started off in the last round. He has the distance, you're right, though. This is the thing with going with the SMGs, and the MP9s will have problems. Flamey's already discovered that. Decent amount of damage done back onto Michael as a response, but the Galils are certainly punishing. They'll keep them in the stronger players at this point in time. To water, no one to respond on top of it immediately, but it's going to be spray back in from Boomich. Just to mention as well, we saw Simple have a decent pistol round, some very crisp shots, 2 kills in total. Electronic was the one that in the last, the upper bracket of the group stages on Sunday was amazing. Had an incredible start to the game and was completely dominant throughout. If Simple can have the same start, you already mentioned it, they both have the same potential, so watch for him to be a factor. AWP on overpass as well, CT side, you can get rolling pretty quickly.
We'll discuss who could potentially step up for GODSENT after this round and see who could go toe-to-toe as we'll get towards this A-bomb side. 20 seconds remaining. Electronics has got such an ideal position for this one as well. He gets a bit of aggro taken away from Simple. This is the tag team combo you don't want to mess with. The FAMAS doing so much damage here. Electronic backed up by Simple there. Low HP Deagle somehow doesn't connect there. Just trying to buy some time. Simple not as clean as you would expect, but there's the kill finally coming through. It's actually Boomich that picks it up. Simple goes down in the end. I think the round is still safe. The plan will come through with a second to spare. CT's not challenging this. They've got low HP on Flamey and Boomich here, waiting for Perfecto to rotate in. MP9 has a lot of damage towards long. Crystal will have to pull back at this point. In terms of utility, only a defuse kit available here. No smokes, no incendiaries. They're going to have to get these kills quickly and work out where the remaining player is. It's going to be The Galil and Michael towards bathrooms. Difficult to make this round work, but there are 2 low HP players.
Tap the defuse, doesn't matter. Michael Lilly's already peaked. This is a problem, Navi. Boomich only has the MP9. He only has 15 HP, and I think he's not even gonna give this a consideration. He has a kit, but no chance at all to find both. He's still sticking around on it, but the time's too far gone. You have to be on the defuse now. 5 seconds required, and he's just chasing them down. He'll get an M4, but the bomb should take him out of the map now, so he's not even gonna save that over. Great response from GODSENT.
And from Makaleli as well. The fact that they were in a 3 versus 2. Crystal was on, what, 2 HP as well? He had to actually get a double spray down there with the Galil, connects the dots, and manages to tie things up at 1-1. But you know, Navi will be force buying back. We'll see what they're going to bring forward. It's going to be Desert Eagles now. I'd assume Simple Judah. This is the problem I have. Most other AWPers within CSGO right now, if you're the star sniper, you won't be joining in with these force buys. You'll get the Deagle, sure, but you won't get armor. This could be a problem for Navi, I suppose, that the Simple will always want to get stuck in with the Deagle armor approach, meaning he might limit himself in that regard, but I guess it's not required. They need the AWP necessarily. We know he's world-class with both. And there's Boomich kicking things off. Flashbang from Electronic takes Crystal down. Normally so good with the spacing. GODSENT unable to trade that one. Back 10's available. No players with helmets here. And another pick coming through, Electronic. He'll get Zen. This is starting to fall apart at the seams. As we'll see Simple continue to challenge towards that connected position. Doesn't feel like he has the advantage there. Decides to fall back. Made him. We talked about his crisp aim, but Flamey outpositions him, and it's now a 5-on-2.
What a turnaround again. Navi playing very smart, very strategic. GODSENT walking into the traps they set, and that's exactly what happens to Maiden as he gets caught out. Michael Lely back around. AK still to work with. They have picked up one. Electronic's gone forward. He's risked his life to try and strengthen his arsenal by picking up the AK-47 on the defensive side. Sticko's going to get aggressive as well out toward long, but this is the last hurrah. This is over toward A. 45 seconds. Bomb plant's easy enough if you had utility. You do have 2 smokes to work with, but they still have to contend with the fact that a player is under the park sign up close, and Boomich hears both, which means he can control the angle. He doesn't need to worry about bathrooms. He can get away, attack, and defend at the same time as he falls off, baits the angle out, and that's Electronic in position perfectly with the AK.
Lovely stuff there from Navi. The Desert Eagles just doing so much damage. Aggressive towards shore to kick things off. It threw a spanner in the works, discombobulated the opposition, and GODSENT couldn't recover. Barely got close to a bomb site there, and it's going to be 2-1, and presumably the force buy response. Maiden just straight in there with the MP5, a weapon you just don't see that much these days. It's not even better than Mac 10 in my opinion. It feels cool to use. It's a lot of fun. They're just throwing it around. 3 different people held onto it then, so it's going to be Crystal using it. Might have been a misbuy, all things considered. Nades in towards the playground position, so GODSENT with Sticko on the scout. What a great tournament he's had so far. Looked very, very good indeed. Nice grenade.
Wow, double bounce and it lands almost like dead on him while he's in the air. It's pretty well thrown. Unfortunately, the MP5 doesn't quite have the same tap potential.
No, not quite.
So closing it on the headshot would be pretty hard to do. Simple, meanwhile, just checking back. Behind him out toward the fountain. He's got to be careful here, isn't he? Is he aware? There's one behind him. This is him going down. Yeah. Completely caught off. I'm surprised he overlooked that position.
So he dropped that smoke to suggest he's fallen back there. He wanted to get super aggressive, but that's just too aggressive, right? He's got no backup from the teammates. They don't need that kill. They weren't even on the back foot, and now they are. He gives up a rifle, more importantly, an AK-47, and it's a 4 versus 3. That was unnecessary, and it's going to be Sticko answering back. The Flamey can still save the day. This kill might decide it. He gets one more, but that's about it. 3 versus 1, perfecto. He'll be able to throw an incendiary towards the bomb site itself, but it's a little bit too late. And that should be it, considering he has no more utility. 2 players are low for sure, but it's a trifecta at this point. How is he going to possibly find all 3?
Battle of mistakes. I mean, Simple doesn't need to be that aggressive and give away a gun when he knows they're already hindered. He can fall off of that. And even if he pushed all the way through, he might have got away with it, but just sits on the wall.
Even if he did get 1 kill and go down, it's still not worth it. The fact you give them an AK, you're never going to get more than maybe 1 or 2. You give them an AK, and we've touched on this before. It's like players like Maiden, Zen on the server as well. You give them an AK, they'll be able to deliver. It's not like there are any slouches with the rifles either. And there it is. You're absolutely right. It was a very overcommitted play there from Simple. Dropped the smoke. That was his retreat plan. He could have got out of that situation with the man advantage, but instead it all falls apart. We go 2-2. And I assume we'll be back to force buy territory for Navi. More of the same, really. Desert Eagles, Scouts, and here they come. They are fully invested. Boomich will lead the charge out with the Deagle armor. A few smokes into the mix. They've got an MP9 for Flamey. GODSENT. Massive advantage here now. They've actually stabilized a little bit of rifles. Michael Lady on the scout this time, and we'll have Perfecto challenging towards Monster, looking for a quick 1 dig, but he has been smoked off. We'll see whether GODSENT can avoid that initial pick. They're very good. That is keeping everything together, very clean. They don't make many mistakes. Very early on in the round, no damage done. CT is trying to hold on to the utility. They have 2 smokes and incendiary. Any information at this point would be wonderful for them. They've got a bit of a lean towards B, and Crystal's not wasting any time. Flashbanging towards bathrooms, just trying to get some control of the map here. Some prime real estate found. CTs do have presence towards long. Going to try and bait them in towards the flower bed here, but Michael Eddy might be ready for it.
Shot out on Boomich. Michael Lilly, as you say, ready for it. He actually catches Boomich retreating. 2 shots from the scout, no defense to it. The advantage to GODSENT. They might actually be the first team to collect 2 rounds in succession and therefore take not only the lead, but the advantage economically. Not enough in the bonus for Navi in the next round either. Good response from Electronic at least. They've got more on top of the site. Seeing the utility thrown, Simple. He actually gets 2 from his position. Able to capitalize before the player in bathrooms can respond, and Navi turn the round. That should not have happened, but yet here we are with more and more forced buy wins.
It's a fascinating start to the game here. It's going to be frustrating for both teams, but in terms of the temperament right now, Navi will be very happy with that one. 3-2. I assume a forced buy coming back in as well. GODSENT will be hovering around $3,000, just under it in some cases. The AK is purchased. They are forcing back. Surely this is where the madness will end. We will see MP9 to Flamey and Boomich. Simple with an auto shotgun. You don't see that too often. We'll see whether he can actually step up here. Tor gets naded out. Maybe it's Suggester. There's no one in towards the connector. It's just Boomich who's spotting for information here. So that's the old bait set up. Simple waiting for his opportunity. That's ambitious with the shotgun, to say the least. The range wasn't quite there for a Maiden. Ready and waiting with the Desert Eagle. Completely removes him. And a 5-on-4 now. Simple gone. Surely no more force by craziness here, but it's looking good for GODSENT.
So quick rotation back over toward the A just to strengthen it. GODSENT trying to battle in. At this point, anything's possible. Don't look at the economy to find a favorite in each of these rounds. Train and Dust 2, the other 2 maps in this series, means once again no Inferno. It's become quite neutral ground. Usually it's the decider map, but it's been removed in many occasions this week, or simply not needed if it was the 3rd. Boomich burning, tries to step wide. Michael Haley greets him on the other side with the AK, the single rifle, and they make good on it. Set up by design on the back of the Molotov, but it's still going to be Navi finding the kills until Maiden gets on top of the truck, and Flamey's left in a 1-on-2, 17 HP, and somehow he's the one with the MP9, which means he has to close the distance because it does not have damage potential at range. It's inside of the Molotov, and we go 3-3, and it's back and forth again.
No one has found any sort of success or back-to-back rounds. It's just stolen away every single time. This is a dangerous game to play, especially with your favorites as well. Navi might have to give in at this point, $2,000 per player. GODSENT keeping up in the fragging department, you have to say that. Giving as good as they're receiving right now. And will there be a tactical timeout? Doesn't look to be the case, but a force buy certainly confirmed. 2 FAMASs, 3 pistols. Basic utility, no kits. Once again, GODSENT with the advantage, but it doesn't seem to hold much weight here on overpass. So a 4-man stack towards B at the start, and there is an execution coming on this side of the map. We are seeing smokes being deployed, and 5 players outside the B bomb site. They would do well to fall back now. Against pistols, they pretty much have to commit to this. Nice sector, I like that. Wall of smokes out, looks cool. Allows you to get in. Just put the brakes on.
Yeah, barrels can't spot you. You can set up your angles. You can get actually deeper Molotovs, should you want to, on top of the platform. Unfortunately, you can also get flashes through, and Navi has no defense toward it as Michael Lele even closes out on Electronic. That is a solid take.
Yeah, that was actually impressive.
Again, GODSENT's actually showing us some different strategies right now.
We've been casting Counter-Strike a long time now. No one's already executed like that.
We've probably seen it once or twice, but that was perfect. The way they slowed the pace and everything.
Yeah, it makes so much sense. Instead of going into the chaos and they're dropping incendiaries and running for everyone's blind, you've just segregated them out. You've cut that bomb site in half, right? That you can just sit there. They either push through a gray screen or they have to wait until you're comfortable. You've got a MAC-10 at the very front that gets flashed through.
And the benefit is those flashes, because you are able to get so much closer when you throw them, that you can push the barrels and you can tunnel vision on individual spots. Whereas if you threw that from inside of water, by the time you get to barrels, their vision's already restored. They're actually turning and getting ready to fight with you again.
It's very simple, but in terms of like just making it work and having the spacing again, they've barely taken any damage in that round. They had 4 players on 100 HP. The only player that went down was Crystal, who had the MAC-10, I believe. I was Maiden who went through. But he barely took any damage, just to reinforce that point. So what a great execution that was. Very well played. 5 players outside B at the start. Going in early is a daunting prospect against CZs and Deagles, and there's a 4-man stack on that side of the map as well. Wasn't a problem. That's going to mean Navi will have to take a full eco at this point. Simple still with the FAMAS. That's about it. So USPs and a P2000. So nothing really invested at all. If Simple can make this one work, I'll respect it. FAMAS, no nades. Oof, Sticko alone. He's got a player behind him? He must do.
Perfecto. He was waiting the whole time. It's a cheeky little position. You got to hold the wall. You can't have accuracy until you drop down and commit to it, but he finds it. Decent boost up position for Simple. He'll at least get the shot back into Zen, but they'll challenge and now push. Maiden controls it, but we aren't done yet. This could be another round stolen back by Navi. They've got 2 AKs picked up to work with, no armor, so aim punch certainly is a factor.
Electronic, though, I don't think he'll be letting any bullets even headed his general direction before he gets a headshot off. We'll see. Well, Maiden's ready for him. This is a very skilled game of CS so far. Electronic goes down, Perfecto. New kid on the block, wrong side of the map for now. With the utility available on the GODSENT side, they should be winning this no problem. Should be in the operative word there. Maiden with 4 kills in the round so far. On for the ace. Good Molotov. That's what I'm talking about. That utility gives them some space, some time. With no kid or armor, Perfecto should be out of luck here. Very squishy. He has got the AK and a lot of talent. First shot connects. 1 versus 1 now. Makaleli offers himself up. Should be a finish here, but Maiden, remember, he's on for the ace here. He's given him a window of opportunity. 1 more bullet to the head will do it. Running out of time, but it doesn't seem to matter. He's bottled it a little bit there, Maiden. He had the control. He could sit on the bomb side, just play the bomb and the timeout. That's a full eco victory with 4 USPs and a FAMAS.
This game is just ridiculous right now. The ways that they're winning rounds, this is against the odds entirely. And you're right, Maiden, he's a newer player to the scene, and that's a bit of an experience. He could have just absolutely stayed alive and, yes, okay, sacrifice himself, but as a result, they would get the win by virtue of time.
Yeah, it seems like they both panicked a little bit. Like, he's got no kit, he's got an AK, you've challenged him towards steps before he's even come up. That one's forgivable, you've got the information at least, but then oof, the fallback, the knife out, seems like you are overthinking the scenario a little bit. He almost certainly has no kit. The bomb was sticking pretty low, but great play from Perfecto. He steps up, he goes 4-4. What an insane game this has been so far.
It's because we're on the stock HUD. We've gone back to the regular HUD, so
I was wondering what was happening. I was like, where's all the intel?
We're just throwing out all the improvements, so it includes the gun rounds. We've got one now. Hardly. Crystal's still in a MAC-10, and we've already lost Boomage. But we slow the pace down. That's probably for the better because it's certainly been a problem for Navi. Same smoke execution. This time they sit a little further back. No one toward the barrels, but watch for the flashes. Spotted as well. Was Perfecto from the sandbag. Simple is the savior from above. He inside of the window is able to collect 1 kill in return. Electronic's going to get back there, so they don't have the same utility. They don't have the flashbangs to complement the take this time, and despite getting the bomb down, which you can do, that's the other thing with that smoke next to the pillar, you can plant inside of it. They don't fortify a post-plant position, and that's going to make it very difficult to defend against 4 players now against just Makaleli. He's got to find the first shot very, very quickly if he wanted any chance of denying a defuse.
Okay, we're starting to stabilize now. I think we're out of the woods. We are going to see Navi get a couple in a row, save some AK-47s, bomb planted, and we'll see what GODSENT want to muster together into the next round. It's flaming at the end of the Boomage. Staying calm for now. Can be quite a volatile team. These things start to go wrong, but can really not argue with some of their eco performances so far. They just need to hold on when they're up against the pistols themselves. So that's the first time either of these teams have got 2 rounds in a row. All for Simple here. And the Krieg for Electronic, a pretty weak buy for GODSENT. Galil for Michael. Barely any utility. It's bare bones at best, really. No Molotovs, and we'll see whether this initial damage towards Boomet will lead to a kill.
Maiden sits back outside of Monster. He'll spray through the smoke. Basically just trying to find any damage they can at this point in time. Try and get a reaction from Navi. Crystal's the closest. He'll make contact. Certainly will with a grenade that lands on him. Wow,
that's a touchdown.
Perfect timing. Trying to sneak in though as Maiden, and he gets caught out once more. This time it's perfecto. He seems to be an anchor. Yes. Every time we see him on these CT sides, sitting in the B side on Mirage, B side on Dust 2, which we will see potentially in this series, and now he's holding toward the Monster position, which is very much an anchor position, despite being a little bit more, I guess, aggressive. You do make contact more than the other 2 places I mentioned.
There they come, trying to make their way through to short. They've actually got a decent couple of trades here, 3 versus 3, and with 50 seconds on the clock as well, they don't necessarily have to commit to this. Orp has rotated, Simple holding towards Heaven right now, but GODSENT will continue their campaign towards B. Through Monster, smoke down, trying to deny vision, but Electronic's got plenty. He's up in Heaven towards Simple's position as well, but the Bombers made it towards the site. They're boosting up. It's a little bit clumsy, but up they go. I don't think there'll be any kills available here. Another smoke goes down, and that's going to be the retreat now from the bomb site.
So the boost for the AWP, if it can find a pick. Credit to them. We don't have a bomb timer. This is what the players deal with. They don't have any knowledge of exactly how much time is left on it either, but they've got to get a move on if they want any chance at this. Kits for all 3, 5-second defuse as opposed to 10. Simple's going to try and hold the line toward ramp, but Zen's already inside of his line of vision, and it doesn't even matter. Simple's fast enough to catch him off. They will get this defuse. Not with much left on it, but that's pretty solid.
I didn't think they stood a chance there. They're so patient. They're happy just to sit there with the boost, wait for the smokes to go down. There was about 10 seconds when they went for the final commitment there. Hit every single shot, defused the bomb, no problem. That's a frustrating one for GODSENT to give up there. It felt so good. They had to work so hard for it as well. But we'll find ourselves with a solid Navi start here. And this was the pick of GODSENT, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So we'll see whether they can bounce back here. It was a weak buy before. Lost bonuses racking up and the plan going down. Money available, but did they want to start waiting now until they get the full buy? We know they're a strategic team with lots of theory done. They don't want to be relying on these weaker buys. Presumably want to get Michael on the AWP. Don't necessarily need it on the T side of Overpass, but we know he's had some incredible performances over the years, most notably on this map. I think some of the most resounding ones I can recall were for NIP on Overpass. We'll see whether finances will be leading in his direction in the next round. I don't think that will necessarily be the case. Let's get into it. So the Eagles are going to be waiting, biding their time to the next round. In terms of utility, 1 smoke, 1 Molotov, that's it.
This always has to stabilize at some point. GODSENT had the opportunity to being the first team to win 2 rounds in a row, but 3 bomb plants. They're still getting cash injections, but they lost a very important eco. It's really turned the pace. Simple. No mistakes this time, not getting caught out too far. Is aware that he's being run down, so he'll fire as he retreats, but they're to the left side. Thankfully, Electronic's going to save him, and he realizes it when he looks over there. But resets his aim to find Crystal inside of the bathrooms instead. So Zen and Maiden, and that's all that remains for the round. Minute and 12, so pretty quick so far. And then we'll get back to a gun round.
Simple connects the shot. It's starting to get warmed up. The AWP now 3 in this round, looking to find the crisp 1 tap with the USP at the end. He certainly delivers. Doesn't take any damage. Still got a lot of money. Didn't even use the utility that round either. So we go 7-4. GODSENT starting to drop off somewhat. They were very competitive in the start with those Desert Eagles. But Navi starting to...
We've got our HUD back as well.
Oh, we do. I just noticed there was quite a change there all of a sudden.
Yeah, the number 1 standout, I mean, there's a lot of different... Visually, it wasn't as appealing. The mini-map's different. But the other thing is they didn't have the team logos in the pictures. They don't actually get forced to do that anymore because the HUDs usually override that anyway. So, yeah, it was pretty apparent.
Well, there we go. 7-4 GODSENT. There's the AWP. So they wanted to get to this point. Well, Michael is start having some opening picks perhaps, but he's up against Simple. Bear in mind, that can just be a fear factor in itself, right? Is knowing you're up against him, you might not be your usual self, you might want to take the usual risk you take, just knowing that he's on the other side. That's the sort of presence he has on the server.
Simple does wait to see if anyone's going to present themselves. They were about to. Timing in Counter-Strike is such a fundamental aspect, and it's seconds, if not less, at most cases, and that's exactly how this transpires as Simple gets back into a more aggressive angle. Now, this does mean that he's slightly more vulnerable from the front side of the hallway that he was watching previously, but that is why Boomich is positioned the way that he is. He can swing immediately and defend his teammate. He's not quite being aggressive all ahead of it. Simple knows he can wall that.
Almost.
Almost, but the crouch. He goes above the shoulder. The gun barrel gives away position. Remember, they don't see the X-ray. They've just got to work on audible cues and good awareness. That time it was visual, but he couldn't connect. So down one man already. At least Navi can slow the pace. 25 seconds. They don't need to get too aggressive at this point in time. They can contain the bomb sites. Haven't seen a wealth of aggression aside from when Simple got caught off, but it does. This map has so much creativity for the CTs.
Well, here's the final commitment now from GODSENT. 10 seconds remaining. They get the smoke down on the side, but they're losing manpower as the round continues, but they pull it back somewhat. Michael Ailey as well, a couple of strong picks. We're waiting for that AWP to show some presence here, and now a 2 versus 2. Michael Ailey is low, admittedly. 4 HP, holding towards short. Jumps over the vision now. It's down to his teammate residing on the bomb side. That's going to be Sticko. Like we said, solid this tournament, continues to be so. Michael Ailey will be met by Electronic. 1 versus 1 now, 20 seconds remaining. Flash there for Electronic. He has got a kit, no utility on Sticko's side. He waits by the ramp and now gives his position up.
I think he was expecting to be further into the open still, so he'd catch him off, get the kill, but now you're right, he's given his position up, but it's too easy. Electronic can chase him down. If it was one or the other, either the kill or no shot at all, he might have given himself a better chance, but the defuse, no problem with the kit. Electronic gets a 1v2.
That's a good point. How do you just stay silent there, just for how close the bomb was? He probably wins it, but he saw his opportunity to get a quick kill in. Didn't work out for him. Electronic, if you make one mistake, he's going to punish you.
I think it felt pressured as well because the bomb wasn't really planted for him, but he still had the time enough to creep out and anticipate the defuse.
Yeah. Well, here's the giveaway that's just gone live. Exclamation mark, main cast. Get stuck in. Not sure what you can win. Hopefully something good. Check it out.
Twitch mods will take care of all that.
Yeah.
So smoke set piece toward B this time. Not going to be the wall that we've seen traditionally.
4 of them.
Yeah, that's a good point. This is just a run and gun.
So they're not even fully invested. It's the partial buy with Mac 10s.
Again, though, look, the smoke's down. This time, unfortunately, they blinded themselves, so both vision restored at the same time. The better weapons win, but they still swarm the site. Their fast takes at B are actually rather remarkable. As Simple through the smoke is able to knock Sticko down before the ball hits the ground, and man, oh man, this guy's quick. Catches out Zen jumping in front of him, showing off the skill that made him the #1 player in 2018 and the #2 player in 2019 in the world.
Absolutely true. I don't mind that approach, though. In those partial buys, you get a Mac 10 and a couple of smokes each, and you just send everything you've got in there. If you get a plant down, it can certainly work out. Wasn't quite as powerful this time, Navi. Now with 6 rounds in a row, we'll take a tactical timeout. I would assume on the GODSENT side as we get into the next round, they don't have Michael Ailey's AWP. Only had that once so far, I believe. He did get a couple of frags. Did not convert around. They've had so many great opportunities to close this round out, and it's just the last few moments. Like somehow Navi get a ridiculous retake with 10 seconds remaining in a 3-on-3. They've been very unfortunate in that department. It just comes down to the individual skill in that respect. Like Counter-Strike, you can have the world's best strategies. You can have everything perfectly done, but if you're not quite as fast as the other opposition in this case, like it's essentially about clicking on heads and reacting faster, and that can be the difference maker at the end of the day. They have played a very solid game so far, but Navi looking like they're in impeccable form individually. A chance to discuss their options. GODSENT will be deploying the coach. Devil behind them. I'm not sure, like this, again, they're not necessarily doing anything wrong. They're getting the bomb down consistently. They're breaking through bomb sites. It's just closing the rounds out.
Yeah,
when it comes down to those one-on-ones, they can't close it out.
The interesting thing with that is it's become later more apparent, but at the start, that was what they were doing better. They were finding disadvantages and turning it around with lesser weapons, so you'd think that it would become easier, not harder, as the half went on, but they've certainly dug themselves a hole, or maybe Navi's just simply woken up into this game, and that's certainly a factor with Navi. The skill that they have, we mentioned in group stages, they can get caught off by lesser teams, but usually by now in the event, they're pretty into it, but 2 days off, late in the day here, big travel time between the practice room and where we are in the venue, so anything's possible.
Well, this seems to be more of a technical issue now. The admin's coming over with headsets off. I'd assume it's a sound issue, so we'll try and refrain from giving too much away. at this point. If you are just joining us, it's our final best of 3 of the day, our semi-final. Second one looking to join Mouse Sports in the grand final. Their 4th or 5th grand final in a row, I believe. So they're looking fantastic. Really enjoyable best of 3 earlier. Navi, you would expect this to be the final, to be honest. Navi versus Mouse Sports. That's quite an exciting one, considering it to be best of 5.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got to get there first, but that's what it's leaning towards before we got into the server, considering these guys already played each other, and what we're seeing right now. And this is the pick of GODSENT. That's why I'm saying it's looking likely it could be Navi.
Remember last year as well, this event was 4 teams.
That's right.
Much different format. Yeah, North 1 having recently, just before that, getting eliminated from any chance of being at the Katowice Major.
Yes.
And Navi was dead last, despite being the team that was going to be at the Katowice Major.
North, Navi,
and Heroic.
That
with
was
Blame F and Freiburg.
Blame F, yes. God, how the times have changed.
That's ridiculous what a year can do.
Yeah, that's when Katie was in North as well. Katie had just signed to North.
That's right.
Now he's in Heroic. It's all over the place, isn't it?
Yeah, it's. I can see why sometimes it's difficult to follow if you don't stay on top of it. But it's there's a lot of movement within the teams, within the contracts, and certainly the teams that aren't necessarily winning, we see them making desperate changes at times, especially if you're underachieving, as the case I think with North very much was last year.
Blame F over in complexity as well. He's not even in our region anymore.
Took a great offer to head over that direction. He was not the first one to be offered that.
That's true. That's true.
I think it was Alexei B was the first offer. And from
I
what I know of that contract, heck, you could have cashed out after a year. And
I would have done it for a year.
Yeah, even if the results weren't
the money
there,
was being flying around, I would have done it for a year.
Even if the results weren't there, you go over to North America, you get the pay. They were willing to fly over, I believe, his girlfriend at the time as well. Not sure. I say at the time because I don't know the situation there currently, so I'll stay safe on that one. But yeah, I mean, it sounded like a fantastic contract. So Blame F took up the offer the second it was thrown at him, and rightfully so.
Hasn't been the best result so far, but I have a team that's going to take some time to build. A new approach, taking 5 players and sticking them together.
With fair credit to Alexei B, he's, whether it was moving to North America, as some people suggested he did not want to do, just being young and not wanting to commit to that, or if it was, looking for a more competitive option, he certainly stuck to his ways. And OG does have promise, despite not looking the best at this event.
No.
But they've got to get it together soon.
Yes. Went out in the quarterfinals. Wasn't the best showing. Their first tournament was at BTS at the end of the year. Also struggled there, but that was their first ever tournament and first time they'd really played with each other, to be honest with you. So, yeah, they've got a few more tournaments to go before we can really get a good gauge of where they're going to be. Still with the technical issue here, I assume it's something a little bit worse than a sound card or a headset. Time will tell. This is the first map, as we mentioned, is the pick of GODSENT here on Overpass. Haven't seen this map a whole bunch. I think it's been played once so far. And just goes to show you that we've actually cast a lot of GODSENT games, and they play almost every single map, it seems. They've been putting in the hard work. And
yeah. I am shocked that Inferno's been seen so little in this event. Yes. I guess it is normally the third map, but even then it's not been the third in a lot of these situations. And the reason I bring that up is because we have had quite a few 2-0 series, so it hasn't necessarily been needed. But yeah, it's normally one of the most prevalent maps at just about any event.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a good middle ground for almost every team. There's no team that vetoes Inferno really at this point anymore, although maybe there should be.
Yes.
To be honest with you. Well, there it is. It's
Crystal looks like he's been electrocuted.
He's gone for that wild haircut. It's working for him, though. It looks good. It's kind of got a blue Sonic tint to it right now.
I think that's the lighting.
Yeah, I know.
It's not NBK.
Sticko, player you might not have seen for a while, but very, very talented. Underrated, I think, in terms of what he brings to a team. I think a lot of people have realized that by now.
If Electronic does kill him, that would have been the good line.
Which one?
With his hair.
Yeah, sure. That would have been
would have been clutch right there. Slightly contextual.
Yeah.
But certainly creative.
There's Michael Ailey, a player. If you haven't been watching Counter-Strike for the last 5 years, you might not even be aware of. He was a big name in the Swedish scene for a few years. Most notably, I guess, NIP. Yeah, it was when he kind of made a name for himself and then went on to some other projects after that.
Made a major final with NIP
yes, exactly,
as well.
That's right. Yeah, and so he's an experienced player. I would say one that's sometimes volatile. Like if he's having a good day, he looks like a really solid sniper. But you can tell sometimes he can get overwhelmed and maybe not play to his absolute best, but I haven't commentated him in a while. This is the first tournament, and I've seen nothing but good things this showing at least. So maybe managed to conquer some of his demons. As it looks like we're ready to go, you can see the stance coming back in.
Yeah, the admin's just waiting to give it the okay. Blade's going to double check, make sure everything's good. It seems Perfecto's the one that has the issue. But we're, well, okay. The camera suggested we wouldn't be back anyway. They might call a stop. Yeah, they're going to call a stop to this round. No one's really left spawn, so I don't think, well, I don't think we're live, but we've got, okay. That'll confirm it. They're dropping the smoke, so I was going to say we got a boost going on in B that looked peculiar, but yeah, we're going to get a match medic on this one, so we'll restart and get things underway again as soon as it is fully fixed, whatever the issue may be. I think you're right. Usually when the headsets are off like that, it is sound related. If I'm not mistaken as well, they're using the soundboards on the table, so they're not going directly through to the PC. It does make things easier to plug and unplug and control very quickly without needing to minimize to Windows, etc.
Yeah, they might be using a white sound system then in that case. So that's normally the issue.
Those, yeah, those headsets are ridiculously costly for a good reason. They have mic cancellation as well as audio ear cancellation, noise cancellation. So they have in and out in that sense covered off so that they can't get any advantages from them. It's similar to what they use actually in Formula 1 to keep distortion down. Yeah. Not that you need it with the lame turbo V6s that they run, but former days gone by, it would have been more necessary.
9-4. It was a very exciting game to kick things off. Deagles all over the place, CZs, MAC-10s, great executions from GODSENT. But unfortunately, as I mentioned, GODSENT haven't necessarily played a bad game or done anything wrong. It's just they get themselves in these winnable scenarios and just getting overwhelmed by the skill of Navi. They're so incredibly good. And I'm not sure if you caught it when we first mentioned it. They've got Simple Electronic within this team. 2 players have been the top 5 of 2019. You've got Simple there, the AWP, one of the world's best snipers, and Electronic, one of the absolute best riflers in the game as well. GODSENT have got some talented members within their ranks, but they would have to be peaking today to challenge the likes of them. So it sounds like we're good to go. Lots of chatter suggests good things are happening.
And there is the medic. You can see it. So we'll revert to 9-4 and start the round properly this time. As you could tell from what we did see momentarily, it is going to be a full buy round for both teams. A few more. We can't see it, obviously. Certainly not in the production image, but a few more chats between the two teams to make sure everything's ready. It's interesting how different maps have taken on different forms in the map pool. Vertigo certainly shifted others out of their comfort zone. You bring it in, and obviously Cobblestone gone previously. That was very comfortable for many teams, and then it was Cache they removed, which, to be fair, was becoming a bit stale, but I do miss it. I do think Cache was an excellent map in terms of CT aggression as well, and you could be very calculated with it. This is going to be very calculated, very aggressive for the CTs. Simple. Extinguishing the Molotov, trying to get in. He actually has a boost on the backside that was going to give him information, but they elect not to go with it because the short tunnel smoke means that he can't jump around aggressively, so we'll hold the angle instead. Very vulnerable toward Monster in the meantime, but they'll back away, and now they'll reset their defensive, more passive positions.
I thought there was a chance to get in there. So he just fires off a shot then as well, just to, at least he gets something out of it. Sure, he doesn't get a kill, but he said, I'm on this side of the map, even though he knows he's rotating. Maiden will sneak past the smoke and finally silence Perfecto. He's been playing a very strong game towards a barrel position here, but a 5-on-4. An advantage for GODSENT. They've had plenty of them, but can they convert this? In terms of utility, they have 3 smokes remaining, a minute on the clock as well. Flamey, though, monster control. Maiden takes him down. His second kill of the round. Can he find anything more? He cannot, and we can see Crystal has snuck all the way through towards Bank. This should be a lockdown round now. With that positional control, there shouldn't be any way you give this one up. There's CTs that aren't going to be aware of this prospect. Guaranteed kill there.
Simple's going to be sitting in the completely vulnerable, wide open position. Crystal does get Electronic. That'll signal to Simple, and if he gets inside of the stairwell and actually reverse flanks him, there's a chance for it, but Boomich would have had to secure a kill as well by getting aggressive and getting out of the line of fire in the meantime. Now it's more about the save. With 27 seconds left, was he spotted? I think Crystal did, and he's going to try and nade it. So yeah, they know he's burrowing into the stairwells.
Yeah, absolutely. 33 HP. Doesn't look like he'll survive. See if Crystal fancies it. Certainly does. Takes him down. One more on the board there. Much needed round for GODSENT after losing 6 in a row. 9-5. They get 6. That's a serviceable half on the T side. Money should be absolutely fine for reinvestment. We'll have a look how Dire it is on the Navi side. After winning 6 in a row, they've lost 1. It just goes to show you like how close these rounds have been. They're going to have 2 players on pistols here. That's going to be Boomich and Perfecto. Bringing out the August Electronic. All for simple. I haven't seen him do anything ridiculous with the weapon yet. We'll see whether he can step up here in the final round of this first half.
Simple with the quick shots, no results. Flashed off, just wanted to anticipate someone's arrival during the time that he was blind. Sticko, meanwhile, again, that deep smoke goes around it from short tunnel. He's watching for the boost. Deagle only for Perfecto, and he's back over to the wide side of Monster. He seems to really like that angle, even though it's very vulnerable once they do push through because there's nowhere to hide, and you usually get isolated very quickly. Does have a support system, though. They've got 2 players there. Boomich, well, he's blind. Doesn't even know where he's firing anymore, and Crystal's able to evade the bullets that he does dispute from the gun. It's going to be Flamey at least to pull one back, though, and he's not done there. He turns from barrels, looks for the 4th, but he's out of ammunition. And that would have been an absolutely ridiculous clutch for him inside of the side. I say clutch. Yes, it's still a one-on-one, but look how far removed Electronic is, but he's in the right place now as Michael unsuspectingly walks back into his crosshair. 10-5. Decent half from Navi considering how we started.
Oh, bit of tension here. Body language doesn't look too great on the GODSENT side. I think that they will be frustrated at half. As I mentioned, that they've played everything in terms of their strat book. Everyone's done everything correctly. It's just closing out those rounds and giving up frags that look like they're locked in. Just Navi just peaking. 10-5 at half. And we'll swap things over. See what can be done here. Win the pistol, they're right back into it. It is a pick of GODSENT, so there's every chance they can give as good as they received. Taking their time now to discuss their options. They need to stay calm.
Meanwhile, on Navi, keep things going as they are. Blade will certainly keep them calm. He's always been a pretty calm guy. I've never really been able to jar much of a reaction out of him.
No, that's true.
Pretty flat in terms of the emotions.
Which is a good thing, I guess.
Great thing, yeah. Certainly, to be a player or a coach, to keep things controlled. Or he's very good at internalizing it, one of the two. But
sure. Well, second half of our first map about to begin very shortly. It will be Navi with the advantage of 10 rounds to 5. They switch over now to the T-Forces. They're known to be a looser team, not as methodical as GODSENT, won't be relying so much on the executions. They've got talent in buckets and spades. We'll see whether they can actually replicate their form in the first half here in the second. Pistol would be taking them one step closer to taking their opponent's map pick here, and we are ready to get back into the action. Let's have a look. Most players and teams will favor towards the B bomb site here on most maps. On the T side, we'll see whether they're that way inclined. We'll have a look at the overall bias here coming through. 1 smoke, 2 flashes, 4 sets of armor, no upgraded pistols here on the Navi side. Here are the odds coming in at halftime from GG.bet. You can see Navi the clear favorite to 1.17, and it's a quick play towards B. Boomich to lead the charge here. He ain't slowing down. He gets the dink towards Graffiti as well. Has he got another one in him? Time will tell. A little bit of damage inflicted towards Sticko there. Smoke down towards Heaven. Bomb to be planted. Looking very good for Navi right now.
Forward stance, just watch for the window. Boomich is certainly watching it. Perfecto as well. As Flamey gets 1, Maiden gets the only kill on the board for the CTs, and as a result, that is an incredible pistol round. But what a shot from Boomich to catch a player midair that could have actually caused problems as well because they were all watching toward the catwalk.
That was ridiculous from Boomich. I hope we get the slowed down replay of that one. He gets the initial headshot upon arrival towards Graffiti, already gives him a point of access to that point, and then causes absolute carnage as the retake begins. He actually had a bit of space there, GODSENT, but couldn't find the shots in time. And we go 11-5 now. Navi will have to fend off a force buy once again. GODSENT don't pick this one up. They could be looking down the barrel of a 13-5 deficit. First kill goes against him. Electronic doesn't miss many. It's Michael removed. 5-4. CT set up 2 towards short. I think 2 towards connector as well. Minimap could be a little bit misleading. Great shots. This is looking too good now for Navi. Let's see if there's anything left to be said. 2 players towards connector spotted. Can be smoked off, naded. will be a B finish here. Simple finds a penultimate kill, and now just Maiden. Good game for him so far, about 30 points of health, 1 kill in the round. Hasn't found a rifle as the bomb's planted. He's towards short. Should be a clean finish for Boomich, which it is. 12th kill of the game. 12th round on the board. And like I said, if they didn't win that round, it's pretty much guaranteed to be 13-5. That was their force buy back into it. So this is
it's an aggressive force buy considering you're that far back. I mean, I understand it both ways. You certainly want to try and limit the damage and keep the score as close as possible, but you have this exact problem is not only do you lose in the force buy, but you concede potentially the next round as well, and then things start to spiral. You put more pressure on yourself later. We'll see how this works out for Navi, going up against 3 P250s, excuse me, rather 5.7s are quite far from the screen. I can't tell the difference, but there's certainly one Deagle.
You've got a P2000 in there. You've got a P250, a Deagle, USP.
Nice. Your eyes are better than mine, apparently.
I've just been staring at those icons for my last
entire
6 years
life.
of my adult life.
Well, the nade will go over top of the edge of the bomb site. Does a little bit of damage. The fact that Sticko's already down this is looking pretty good for Navi as they continue to barge forward. Boomich looking solid so far on this T side on the entries. Hasn't had much to do with in the way of an AK-47 and entry rounds, but he's certainly not taking or not scared of taking the fight to GODSENT. 3 rounds to go and they'll steal the first map. This is GODSENT's choice. So we go to Train, which is Navi's choice and very much Navi's territory.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that will be played guaranteed in the final tomorrow if they go against Mousesports, because you know that I would even say that's going to be the first or second map.
Yeah, they're both very well versed in it. That'll be a lot of fun to watch as well. If we get there, this is the first map of the best of 3, but it's not looking good for GODSENT at this stage. The only real dent they've made was in those initial few moments of the half, and the T side for them managed to get the Deagles out, lots of force buys. But when they lost to that pretty much full eco, 4 USPs in the FAMAS, that's when things started to collapse somewhat. Frustration starts to set in, and they're taking damage here in the first round's end, down to just 6 points of health. In terms of the setup, Navi, pretty default so far. They've got some connector control, 1 player in towards playground, a lurker towards B, as you'd expect. That's Flamey, just showing presence there as he starts to fall back. So an A finish looking likely here. See Molotovs and smokes deployed towards the bathroom. It's going to be up to Boomich, joined by Electronic towards middle as they start to posture over towards long. No AWP available, so that's a very viable part of the map. Great boost for Simple. This looks like he's guaranteed to kill. Oh, they don't overstep the mark.
That's actually...
If that's by design and they're just
again,
careful of that.
It could be they're totally aware of that boost. It has been pretty prominent in the past, but again, the timings in Counter-Strike, that is seconds away from disaster. Inches away from disaster even. As Maiden is up behind the flower pot. I'm not sure they're aware he's this close. It may not matter. Michael Laley's already got the first one. That baits him back in. He can just take the fight straight to Electronic. So Boomich and Electronic down already. This is a great start to the round from GODSENT. First full gun round on the CT side. As we said, the force buy meant that they're now down 13-5. Go 14-15. You got a huge problem. So this is a must-win round for GODSENT.
Smoke towards heaven. Just going to try and cause as much damage as they can here on the Navi side. Busting through the MAC-10. Doesn't look good as Zen is in a perfect position. But he's low HP though, but it might not be a factor. 5-on-1. Simple, the last man remaining with no time. 1 second now, as that will be it. Wants to try and survive this. They've got plenty of money on the Navi side. Wants to take one with him, why not? It will be Zen, the low HP player, so it does have a knock-on effect. He'll have to reinvest. 13-6 now. So do we see the AWP from Simple here? Does he want to bring it out? Looks to be potential timeout now. You can see Blade just chiming in here. Good to see that. Even when you have a solid lead, you don't want to start throwing it away. Make sure everyone stays focused. Keep the eye on the prize, even though it does feel like you are running away with the game. It was a bit of a strange round in the previous, like, I guess a sort of bonus situation. You got like residual SMGs. See what kind of damage you could cause, but not too much found, just the 1 kill. But now GODSENT need to string a load of rounds together. We're talking like 3 or 4. To start looking like this could be a possibility they can bring this all the way back. It's their map pick. We'll see what they're capable of on their CT side.
It's incredible how young of a team Navi is now. Because they were some of the elder statesmen within our scene forever. NIP.
With Edward there and Zeus, right? Yeah.
NIP, Fnatic previously, although even then they were quite young. Virtus Pro's old lineup, and Navi. That was it. And those were like the long terms. The French guys were young comparatively. Astralis is still young comparatively, but now I'm sure the average age is significantly lower. In fact, I'd say they're one of the younger teams on the scene.
Yeah, you're probably right there. Well, let's see what can be done now. 13-6. No more purchase, but a lot of damage taken by virtue of the grenades at the very start, and a little probe from the CTs here. Did they commit towards the short pipe? It doesn't look great. The jump up couldn't be at a worse time there. Crystal caught off guard. 2 kills found for Navi. 5 on 3. Put the brakes on at this point. You've got so much time. CTs on the back foot. Nades being exchanged here, but Simple plenty of waiting. Not the cleanest kill, but as long as he lands it, didn't even take any damage for it. And that should be the round, unfortunately. These two players are towards B, and they're making a fast push towards the A side. So, Perfecto currently waiting in the smoke. He's got CTs in front of him. That connector position. It feels like he might be worth 1 frag here, but that's the correct play. He doesn't need to go down here. Don't go to think he's got Flamey watching this side of the map. He's probably going to get both. Of course, cleanly in the head. No problem whatsoever. 14-6.
Yeah.
Money must be wrecked.
It's I mean, they're trying to get away to save at that point in time. It's not destroyed. Okay, I was going to say it's to the point where they would have a very good buy in the next round, but they've gone. I mean, this is now a third round bonus based on the reset of the single round. But they're not going to be in a good position. They want to play for the win here. They're not willing to concede the 15th point. They're not willing to put that much pressure on themselves and give away what would be 9 map points. So this is it. This is all in. AUG as well, just a note for Michaelele, and he's trying to get aggressive with it, but he's tagged up already by Electronic, who has the equivalent, the Sister Krieg, on the T side. And he's not done there. He's going to continue on to long to make sure if anyone's pushed up, he'll be able to punish them at range. Maiden is the one that waits around the corner, and he might walk into this. He might have a problem on the M4.
It's a difficult spot by yourself. Yeah. To even get one there, he would have done well. But his backup is in the form of Michaelele, who will be taken care of as well. That was just such a guaranteed kill for Simple. You could see it. He knew it before Michaelele even swung around the corner. Just one step ahead of his opposition, time and time again. Looks like map points will be found here, unless these MP9s and FAMAS are going to do something pretty ridiculous at this stage. Then, nice angle, but Flamey, no stranger to the monster tunnel, will at least do some damage towards him. 50 seconds remain. A will be the finish here. CT's limping back in towards the bomb site. And Simple, he's the one to make his way through to the bank area this time. It might not even matter. Electronic, another great shot from the Krieg. 40 seconds on the clock. Bomb making its way through. And in terms of positioning, we've got Sticko towards the playground. Zen towards B with the AK-47. Round's done. Map point found. GODSENT will need 9 in a row after this one. And at this stage, all they can do is really save the AK.
Yeah, he'll try. It's better than nothing. At that point, I mean, if you're forcing onto that, if you really thought you had a chance, you keep the discipline and say, hey, let's get a proper full buy. If you had any belief at all that you were going to come back, but it's one of those ones where someone goes, let's just buy. Yeah, you know what, let's just do it. You're just hoping. It's not like you're putting anything to practice. You're just hoping it's going to work out, and that's not good enough when you're this far behind. So Navi will find map point. They will have 9 map points to work with, and the AK has already been removed, so it's going to be a massive problem for the CTs. They're only on a 4th round bonus, $2,900 at best, plus whatever residual they had. So force again, yes, but still not with the best options. Flamey. He's the longest serving member of Navi at this point in time, is Flamey.
Yeah, that's a good point. I haven't thought about it like that before. He has been there for a while, though. I remember he was the new young gun coming into the team. Set the world on fire in more ways than one. We'll see if this is the final round of the first map here. The pick of GODSENT hasn't gone well for them. I feel like they just got a little bit overwhelmed in some of the key rounds that really cost them a lot in terms of the finances. Sticko fighting back, doing what he can here. Does find a Krieg at least. And now got a FAMAS to work with, still a 4-on-4, but Perfecto ready for a chance in towards short. Lots of damage inflicted from those wooden boards. There's Michaelele with a scout though, trying to keep them in it. Still valuable to get these rounds. Make the scoreline more competitive, get warmed up, laugh it off. 1 minute remaining, and the grenade will be delivered here. They've got the man advantage here, but still, players like Simple Perfecto alive, anything could happen, but Maiden's got himself a frag here, surely. At least one. There it is. Maybe even a rifle.
Something to work with, but still something they have to deal with is the fact that the AK of Perfecto's gotten inside of the site. That's been swiftly settled as Sticko able to hold off the angle with the Krieg picked up. So it's all on a Simple. Don't rule that out. In a 1-on-3, he's got information as to Michael Ailey's whereabouts. He's even going to bait him out and pretend he doesn't, but Michael was a little too quick. Simple was hoping he would try and sneak around the box.
Yeah.
Who does that? You know he's there, so instead of just taking the fight, you go, I'm gonna brain on him right now. I'm gonna try and pull him to me. That's something only Simple would do.
He's trying to dunk on him. We'll see if Navi have the resources to justify another full investment here. Should be fine. Have they taken a tactical timeout? I can see Blade chatting, so should be the case. He doesn't want to mess around here. He doesn't want to waste any time. Get the job done. GODSENT will be playing Train next, up against Navi, who look to be in much better form today, even after a rough start.
Yeah, you say rough. I mean, it was back and forth. It was
just a frustrating one, like knowing you win the pistol,
yes.
You come back with the force buy, they do the same, and it's just like, of course, they got the...
But it could have been much worse. As soon as they lose that force buy, they don't follow it up. They did follow it up, so at least, it was an awkward start, but it wasn't like they were in a hole at any point from it.
Yeah, as soon as they won that eco with the FAMAS, that was them in the driving seat. They were running away with the game then. So, decent buy available, of course. AK's Kriegs, maybe just a straight up B play here. Blade's had enough. This is like, let's just get a couple of smokes towards B. Flash over, Bob's your uncle. Round's gonna be ours. At least that's the plan anyway. First kill belongs to Boomich, and the second, wow, savage. As he makes his way towards the site, the in-game leader gets it all done.
Yeah.
Great play.
That's just ridiculous, just running in and styling on absolutely everyone. Boomich continues to be very aggressive and assertive in these situations. Better damage his direction. Maiden just trying to do what he can. But Simple's waiting behind the door if he even dare try and move forward. Smoke's up above. Bomb already ticking. He's playing for points at this point. Well, there you go. Playing for points at this point. At this point in time, that's all he really can do, Maiden. No way he's going to win on a 1v5. 15 seconds left on the bomb. And Flamey's not even going to let him get a single kill for statistics purposes at that point.
It's a